Your money mindsets, habits, and behaviors are absolutely pivotal to your success in personal finance. As a matter of fact, they form 80% of the reason why you would be successful or not be very successful when it comes to money matters. In today's episode, I would like to highlight 10 money habits that are keeping us broke, and I hope that as I go through them, you could identify some of the things that you can add on to your 2023 goals that you would want to work on and improve on in order to elevate your experience with money and personal finances. Thank you so much for joining me on yet another episode of Finance Friday. My name is Coach Susan. The first money habit that could be keeping you broke is treating money conversations as a taboo topic. If you are not talking about money and you are not learning about money, you are not surrounding yourself with people who are having healthy money conversations, you will never quite grow or get to experience exposure in matters personal finance and money, in terms of how, get to find out how are people making money, how are they saving, how are they investing, what are they doing to change their history or their past bad experiences with money. I have found that as long as you treat money as a taboo conversation or something that you cannot talk about, you will always do badly with it. Most of the things I know about money today, most of the things I now do to make money, I learned because I exposed myself or I had conversations with people that had already gone before me or people that had already tried those things out, and they had a thing or two to tell me about it. So I always love to tell people in 2023, ensure that you put yourself in spaces and in circles where money is being discussed. The more you talk about something, the more you think about it, the more you're exposed to it, the better you get at it. It's pretty much like learning any skill whatsoever. I mean, I've seen people who really want to get good at public speaking join clubs that deal with public speaking, right? And you get better because you're interacting with people who are really good, people who are challenging you, people who really know what they do in that regard. So money is not any different. It should not be a taboo conversation. Talk about it with your friends. Talk about it with your spouse if that is an option. Ensure that you're having money conversations where it matters and with the people it matters with. It is really, really going to revolutionize your experience in personal finance. So that's the first thing that I think we should improve on as a habit. The second habit that could be keeping us broke is spending without planning, spending without thinking, or spending without setting goals. If you are unintentional and you don't plan, like you just go as the winds take, I mean, whatever happens this month happens, we figure it out next month, like you're not being super intentional with how you're spending your money. That's a horrible habit to carry into a new year. You might want to start thinking, actively planning and setting goals every beginning of the month or whenever your salary comes in. And the three most important questions to ask yourself is, how much money did I make? What would I want this money to do for me this month? And how can I be accountable, or how can I hold myself accountable that I stick to this thing that I said I want my money to do for me? I always love to tell people, have a money date with yourself every end month to answer these questions. That brings a level of intentionality, and it pretty much shows that I respect my money, whether that's 50,000 shillings that I earn or 500,000 shillings that I earn. Being intentional with what you're doing with your money shows a level of respect. Being unintentional with your money shows that I mean, you're not being super, you're not concerned about what you're spending your money on. You just spend without thinking. There's no planning that went to it. You're an impulse spender. If that is something that you struggle with, it happens to the best of us. One of the habit changes that you can incorporate is setting aside time every month. I call that a money date with yourself, so that you can intentionally plan on spending. The problem is not spending. The problem is unintentional spending. Okay. The third money habit that could be keeping you broke is having a victim mentality. I love to call this a life just happens to me mentality. So I've spoken to people and I've coached people who've told me, but coach, there's no use of budgeting. There's no use of planning my spending because things just happen to me. And for me, I just love to wait and see how the month goes and I figure it out along the way. I find that to be a victim mindset. You are adopting a I cannot do anything about it mindset. And that is a terrible habit and a money mindset to go into a new year with, or even to sustain for the long haul. What I advise is take a leadership role or a leadership position in your personal finances and start understanding that I am in charge. Like, appoint yourself as the CFO, the chief financial officer of your life, and actually start looking at what can I control. Listen, there are so many things you can't control. You can't control the economy, you can't control the government, you can't control taxes, you can't control the cost of living, but you can control your money, your small money habits. You can control even how much you choose to earn, all right? So instead of saying, oh, I do not earn enough, that's a victim mindset. But I can change things kind of mindset means, okay, I don't earn enough, but I think in 2023, this year, one of my goals is to find one source of income, one additional source of income, whether that is a side hustle or starting a business or starting to do consulting or something in the weekends that gives you some additional money. That is taking a leadership role. So you do not want to live life as if things just happen to you. Of course, I'm aware that there are things we can't control, but I can control my spending. I can learn to say no. I can say no to immediate gratification. I can choose to invest rather than spend. All those are choices that are within my reach. And that is one of the most revolutionary things that happened to me when I started working out my finances, and I stopped entertaining the thought that I can't control this. This life is just happening to me. The moment I owned it and I was like, I can figure this out. Have there been people who've been in my position and they've been able to figure out how to get out of it? Yes. So I'm going to commit to getting myself out of this because I'm in charge. I can choose and I can control my money behaviors, my money habits, my spending habits, whether I choose to save or to invest or to spend. All those are things that are within my control. So a victim mindset is not a good habit. You might want to take on, I love to call it a leadership position. I can control, I can change things. I can adopt healthier money behaviors. That will really, really impact you positively. The other bad money habit that could be keeping you broke is actually procrastination and avoidance. And I want to pause this here, or rather I want to pause here for a minute. How many times last year did you pull this phrase on yourself? I will start again next month. And this happens a lot when you are really intentional, you wanted to budget, you really budgeted, and then things went haywire at some point in the month. What most of us will do is be like, mwezi imeshaisha or mwezi ishaenda, so let me just try again next month. That is avoidance. One, you're avoiding to deal with the failure. You're avoiding to deal with the fact that I set a budget, I wasn't able to stick with it, and now you're procrastinating, sorting that problem that has just arisen, right? And so procrastination, laziness, and avoidance is a habit you do not want to have when it comes, if you really are intentional in building wealth and not being broke all the time. So what can you do? Let's assume you you did a budget, it's now the 15th or the 12th, and I mean, things are really not working out the way you thought you could do. Now, think of it this way: troubleshoot. You did the main budget, now just do a mini budget. There are people who tell me, Coach, hey, let me tell you, I had 200k last week, now I have 30, that's all I have left. If I was you, I wouldn't say, okay, wacha nijaribu tena next month. What I would do, I would sit down and do a mini budget for that 30,000 that I have left. You see, what you're trying to do here is to learn to take accountability and to not avoid it when things go wrong. I mean, even the whole process of now having to deal with budgeting for the 30,000 when last week you had 200,000, it does something to you mentally in terms of helping you to now be more intentional and to take responsibility. If something has gone wrong, sort it out as soon as possible. Don't procrastinate and don't pull the I will deal with it next month card. That's exactly how some of us never ever stuck to our budgets or even achieved any one of our financial goals because we kept procrastinating and avoiding the problem that is. So whatever it is that you're running away from, whether that is the fact that, oh, a budget doesn't work for me. Listen, guys, it's been proven over and over again over the years that budgeting works, investing works, savings work. So when I own that I'm the problem, or maybe better yet, I have still not figured out how to do it well. It's not that budgeting doesn't work or investing doesn't work or I can never be debt free. It is, I still have not figured out how to do it. So instead of avoiding it and procrastinating, be intentional in actually figuring out how you can get it done, because it's already proven that it works. I just need to figure out, as Susan, how can I make it work for me? And this is where resources such as getting a financial coach like myself come in, or buying even some courses or templates for budgeting. Maybe you just are not budgeting well because you do not know how to budget. And if that is you, if you've been procrastinating because you just never seem to figure out, I have a couple of classes and templates that would be instrumental for you. I'm going to link them down in the description box below. I have a budgeting masterclass that comes with a free budgeting template. So I've not only just taught you how to budget, but I've also attached a template that you can use to do your 2023 budget. Check that out. If investing has been a challenge for you, I also have an investing masterclass linked down in the description box. Check it out and really just set yourself up for success. Instead of complaining that this thing is not working and procrastinating all the time, put aside some time and do some very intentional steps and action points that will take you from A at least to B, then to C, and you start seeing progress. And progress is very motivating, guys. The moment you just do one thing that works, you realize that you start getting momentum and you stop with the procrastination. The fifth money habit that could be keeping you broke is not wanting to know where your money is going, or not knowing where your money is going at all. I've had some people ask me, Coach, you track every single coin. Don't you think that's obsessive? Like, why are you obsessing? I love to tell people that tracking your expenses and knowing exactly where your money is going is absolutely not obsessive. It is necessary. Because if I don't know where my money is going, and now I'm realizing I have a budget deficit and things are not really working out as I want, one of the reasons why most of us cannot sort the problem is we do not know where the problem is. Every time someone comes to my budgeting class, the first thing I'll ask them is, how much do you spend on food? How much did you spend on entertainment last month? And 50% of my clients or more cannot tell me an exact figure. They're like, I actually can't tell you how much I spent on enjoyment last year. That's a problem, because you see, if I know that I spent 50,000 and I'm trying to fix my budget for next month, it's easy for me to say, okay, instead of the 50,000 I spent, I think I'd like to slash that budget into half and start spending 25. Or if I spend 20, let me slash that budget and start spending 5. You see, when you know exactly what goes where and you're trying to remedy a particular, like a tough time financially, or a decrease in your income, or just a bump that has come along the way that you never anticipated, it is easier to pivot. It is easier to adjust yourself very fast, even the next month, when you know what you can cut. But when you have absolutely no idea where your money goes, even if you wanted to sort out some issues, you do not even know what the problem is. So start developing the culture or the habit of knowing where your money is going. I personally use an Excel sheet to track my expenses. I will link it down in the description box below. I also use a tracking app on my mobile phone. It's called the Money Manager app. It's available both on Android and on iOS. So you could just get it. I mean, I use both of them because I'm not always walking around with an Excel sheet, but every time I'm paying something, I bet you my phone is in my hand. So every time I spend, I'm able to track and say, oh, I've paid an Uber, or I have had lunch and this is how much I spent. And so at the end of the month, I get a report to show me exactly how much money I spent that month, and I'm able to transfer that data into my Excel sheet and be able to make some adjustments and some decisions for the following month. The sixth habit that could be keeping you broke is not paying yourself first. So what is paying myself first? Paying myself first is paying into my savings and my investments before I spend the moment my paycheck comes in. Now, most of us do this. When the money comes in, we pay the bills, we pay the debt, we take care of a couple of things that have been pending, and we say that whatever is left is what we will save or invest. And more often than not, there's always so much demand on our coins, on our money, that by the time you're done attending to everything you wanted to attend to, there is nothing left to save and invest. Now, extrapolate that experience over 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. It's very easy to go 7 months, 8 months, a whole year without prioritizing your savings or investments, because your mindset is not to save first then spend. It is spending and then saving. So if you really want to crush your savings and investment goals this year, adopt the paying yourself first strategy. If you've been intentional and you're like, you know what, I will save and invest, or I will put 10,000 in savings, 10,000 in investments every month. If you're truly intentional and you really want to get it done, when your pay or when your income comes in every month, just take out the 10,000 before you do anything else. And yes, I know someone is looking at me like, at a rent. Yeah, honey, before you do anything else, just chuck the 10,000 you committed to, or the 5,000 or the 2,000, and send it in that account. Then organize yourself with whatever is now left. It will save you a lot. When I used to earn very little money when I was employed, I think I've shared this before, I used to get a net of around 29,000. And I mean, with transport and all that, I mean, it was a struggle, right? But one of the things that I really, really tried, I had a SACCO and I had a money market fund and a whole lot of debt. I mean, that's one of the things I did first. Like, the moment my salary hit my account, I would take out the money that was supposed to go to the money market fund, the SACCO, and the HELB loan and the SACCO loan, and then now remain organizing myself. Of course, I didn't have a lot of flexibility or a lot of fun or luxury, but I was able to at least save on the bare minimum and keep my debt repayments going even at a very low income. So prioritize paying yourself first. So what we are saying is save and invest first, then spend. Okay, let me know if it works for you towards the end of the year when you're a rich auntie. Okay, the seventh money habit that could be keeping you broke is living above your means and spending on things that you cannot afford. I don't want to I do not want to stay here too long, because this conversation doesn't make a lot of people very happy, but it's true. I love to incorporate the 50-30-20 budgeting rule to when I want to audit or when I want to examine whether I'm living above my means. And the 50-30-20 budgeting rule states that 50% of my income should cover my mandatory bills and expenses, 30% should go towards savings, investments, and debt repayments, and the remaining 20% towards wants, leisure, enjoyment, and all that. Now, if my total mandatory bills and expenses amount to like 80%, and I know that the threshold, or rather the recommended threshold, is 50%, that's already an indication that I'm living above my means, because I mean there's really nothing left to save, invest, or I mean there's very little money left to now do all these other things, the saving, the investing, the paying debt, michango and contributing to social giving and stuff like that. There's really nothing much left. If you examine and audit your life and find that you're living above your means, there's two options. You could either choose to cut down on your expenses and unnecessary spending and bring that figure as low as possible. And if you've already done that and you're still living above your means, then you need to prioritize and find ways to make additional money. This is the most important thing when it comes to spending. Listen, your money is yours, obviously, and we want our money to work for us. The most important thing when it comes to wealth building is making money, but also keeping some of that money that you've made. If you keep spending all of the money that you make and you don't keep some in terms of savings and investments, you will be broke forever. Wealth is not what you're spending, okay? Wealth is really what is left after you've paid and you've spent on everything you need to spend on. So listen to that keenly. Wealth is what is left after you're spending. So if you spend everything and you never leave anything, you never keep any of the money that you make, it's very difficult to build wealth in the long term, which is what is keeping a lot of us broke. So you might want to look on that money habit this year. The eighth money habit that could be keeping you broke is jumping on every get rich quick scheme that shows up. Guys, I know we want to make money. I know we want to secure the bag, but listen, successful investing and wealth building takes time. It takes consistency, and wealth is not built overnight. Very few people have been able to build wealth overnight, and a lot of that is luck. But because not everyone, very few of us just get overnight lucky, you might want to educate yourself on the basics of investments and kind of like understand what exactly does it take to build a sustainable investment portfolio. What should an investment portfolio look like? How do I mix my risk appetite and choose things that work for my risk profile? All of that requires training, a lot of reading, and a lot of exposing yourself. So don't just jump into every new product, everything influencers are telling us or we are telling you to invest in. Even if your mom or auntie or whoever works there, always take your time to conduct due diligence on any product, on any investment. Get to find out where your money is being invested, what the risk is in terms of what the risk associated with that asset is, who runs the company, how long have they been in existence, where are you getting 21% from or 18% from, what is the market average? Like, ask questions. Don't just jump into every new trend that comes up. Be sure that whatever you're choosing to put your money in or to invest your money in is in alignment with your goals. I've seen people ask me, oh coach, why don't you do maybe say stuff like forex, because I don't trade in forex or cryptocurrency, for instance. And I'm not saying that it is a bad investment. All I'm saying is that currently in the stage of wealth building that I am, I still have not found a place for crypto or forex, for instance. But there are people who it's working well for. So what does that tell me? That not every investment option in the market is good for me. So don't just jump into every new thing that comes up. Have a plan, an ironclad plan and strategy, and stick to it through the long term. The billionaires we know today and the really wealthy, sustainably wealthy people we know today found one or two or three things that worked for them and stuck with those things for the long term. Okay? Now, the ninth habit, having a consumer mentality. And I'm just going to ask a very simple question. What are you buying with your money? You see, if you have a consumer mentality, you'll be buying material stuff, the cars, the Louis Vuitton, the watches, the makeup, the handbags. Okay, that's a consumer mentality. Or are you buying assets with your money? You see, I could choose to spend 500,000 on a handbag. There are bags worth that much and more. Or I could choose to use that 500,000 and get a bond or invest in shares. If you have a consumer mentality, you will always be buying material stuff and liabilities as opposed to assets. You will always be trying to keep up with the Jonases and keep impressing others and just trying to show people that you're still doing well, you're still the best in the clique and all that. Start adopting that. It's the goal. If you want to be wealthy, the goal is to actually be wealthy, not to just look wealthy. Okay, so when you understand that, you're going to start shifting your mindset from a consumer mindset to now starting to understand that you could also acquire assets and investments instead of acquiring material stuff. Remember what we just said a few minutes ago: wealth is what you retain after you've spent. All right. Finally, the last habit that could be keeping you broke is actually complaining about your money situation, about the economy, about how budgeting doesn't work for you, investing is just not doing it for you, and not fixing things. If you're complaining and you're not doing anything about it, you will still remain broke. So if budgeting did not work for you last year, stop complaining about it and figure out a way that budgeting can work for you this year. If you are not able to consistently save and invest, instead of complaining about it, find out how you can learn saving and investing this year. If you didn't make enough, we could all complain about the government, the economy, but remember, we all have 24 hours. We are all operating in the same recession. We are all operating under the same tax regime, especially if you're a Kenyan like myself. But do we still have people figuring out and innovating new ways of making money every day? Yes, we do have. So this year, I committed to not complaining about my money situation or the government or taxes, and instead use that energy to figure out, okay, now that the cost of living has gone up, taxes are going up, how do I keep up? I need to make more money. So can I leverage a skill, a talent? Can I set up a new business? Can I negotiate better pay? Stop complaining about your money habits and start doing. Less talk, more action. Less talk, more action. Okay, and if you want to take some action towards your personal finances, as I said earlier on, I have amazing resources on my website. Some are free. If you're already not signed up to my weekly newsletter, you need to get onto that. I usually will share weekly personal finance nuggets, tips, offers, and all that to just keep you ahead with personal finance. So I'm gonna put a link down below in the description box. Please join my mailing list, and I'll be updating you guys on a weekly basis on some personal finance nuggets that I believe will really elevate your financial literacy this year. If you would like to take some of my master classes, they're also linked down in the description box below, as well as a budgeting template that you could use to set up your 2023 budget and set yourself up for a better and a healthier and a more balanced relationship with money this year. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, let me know in the description, in the comment section down below. Remember to like this video, to share it, and to turn on your notification bell so that you can be updated every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.